Welcome to Speak for Yourself, Marcellus Wiley. Emmanuel Ott.
Yes, you looking at me. I must be looking fresh.
You know what happened today? No lie.
What happened?
Okay, last night I had In-N-Out. I had 2 number ones. Yeah. So that's 4 patties, right? Got on the scale this morning and no lie.
It was lighter.
I had a new all-time low since I've been fat. 248.1 after the double.
I don't like that, bro. You catching me, bro. You catching me.
Where you at?
Like 229. I know I'm shriveling.
I ain't never catching that. All right, let's get it started with Buffalo. And news in Buffalo. Talking about something we can't catch. Josh Allen's contract. Good Lord. He just got seriously paid. The Bills and their star quarterback agreed to a 6-year... $258 million contract extension with $150 million guaranteed no matter what.
God.
According to Adam Schefter, that's Adams' long-term deal comes before fellow 2018 draft class members, Baker Mayfield and Lamar Jackson, and follows the Bills' general manager saying they were not going to negotiate in season. So, Acho, did the Bills commit too soon?
Marcellus Wiley, let's talk about your Buffalo Bills, sir, shall we? They did not commit too soon.
They did not?
No, sir. But they may have committed too much too soon. You feel me? I love Josh Allen. I actually think Josh Allen has the highest ceiling of the quarterbacks in his class, even higher than Lamar Jackson, even higher than my guy Baker Mayfield. I love Josh Allen. However, even a Bills fan, if they were being honest, would have to say, we don't really know who Josh Allen is yet. You talked about this before. His first season, obviously, we were like, ugh, that's not good. Second season, we're like, Third season, we're like, yo, this dude is amazing. But we still don't know who Josh Allen is exactly just yet. I think we have the full screen, and I want to look at Josh Allen. I want to look at Patrick Mahomes. I want to look at Dak Prescott. Look at the aggregation of all of them over their first 3 years of, or really their first years of playing before they got the money. Josh Allen, 270 passing yards a game, touchdowns to interceptions, 67 to 31, passing touchdowns per game, 1.5. Dak is at 1.5. Mahomes is at 2.5. Why do I bring that up? Because we knew more about Mahomes. We knew more about Dak than we have known about Josh Allen. We don't need the full screen. Let me just talk to my dog.
Okay.
So if I were to take a coin out of my pocket and I were to flip the coin up in the air and it were to be heads the first time, I can't bet $258 million that it will be heads every time going forward. Now, if after 5, 6, 7, 10 flips, it's heads every time, I think to myself, it might be a 2-sided coin. I'm going to continue to bet that. But it's not for lack of love of Josh Allen. It's for senses of reality, which simply say, we saw one good season. It was an MVP caliber season, but just one season nonetheless. Did you commit too much too soon to Josh Allen?
They didn't commit too much too soon, and they didn't commit too soon to Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a beast.
He is.
This is the way you have to really conceptualize who Josh Allen is. Highest ceiling in terms of skill set, and also continuously improving. Why does that give me security? Because someone who has the potential to be as great as anyone else also continues to show me the work ethic, the discipline, the focus, and he shows me in producing every single year, he will continue to improve. That's where your security blanket is. The fact that you know that this guy is not going the other way. So I understand what you're trying to give me right now, a gambling prospect, a risk evaluation of who Josh Allen is. But it's not where he started, it's where he is and where he's going to continue to go. That's where you have to have your security. I'm looking at him right now. This is you know this from playing, that when you see Stephon Diggs come to the Buffalo Bills, you're already excited because Stephon Diggs is a beast. He got greater with the Buffalo Bills. Why? Because he was with a great quarterback. So think about that. When everyone wants to shoot at Josh Allen and say, oh, he's great, but hold on. Stephon Diggs was a made man with a good quarterback. Some on great days, you could see out of Kirk Cousins. But when he got with Josh Allen, great met great, and they got greater. I have security in Josh Allen. And I don't look at Patrick Mahomes' contract right now because it's sad when you put up a full screen right there. You see Patrick Mahomes, you see Josh Allen, you see Dak Prescott. Who's the best quarterback?
Patrick Mahomes.
Who's getting paid the worst?
Patrick Mahomes.
The least. Come on, Patrick Mahomes, what you doing? You got a bad contract. We'll talk about that later. Anyway, point being, Josh Allen got the money he deserved in this moment. And crazy enough, if he would have waited, he would have got more.
Of course.
And crazier than that, he could have been lesser of a quarterback going forward and got paid more because of the inflation in the cap and the revenue. Point being, Buffalo knew what they had. Buffalo knows what it's getting, and it's know what it's going to continue to receive in his improvement. Not too soon for me. Not too soon for Josh.
My thing, though, Sel, is because on this show, we talk a lot of sports. We talk football. We talk track and field. Y'all gonna get that later.
We're gonna get that.
We talk basketball, obviously. What I've learned in talking basketball, studying basketball, talking to NBA players, talking to NBA agents. I know you talked to Rich Paul. I ran into him like I told you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Talking to NBA analysts. In basketball, you get paid off of projection. In the NFL, you get paid off of performance.
Okay.
See, I feel like Josh Allen got an NBA contract.
Oh, you're doing that.
Sel, I feel like he got a projection contract. It's not to say Josh Allen's not amazing. I agree with you. I think Josh Allen's ceiling is higher than the ceiling of all the quarterbacks in his class. I got asked this question by our producer, Healy, before the show. What quarterback would you rather have over the course of the next 5 years outside of Patrick Mahomes? I thought to myself, Aaron Rodgers. And then I said Deshaun Watson, and then I said Josh Allen. So if I'm looking at the fact that I'd take Josh Allen over the next 5 years as a top 3, 4, 5 quarterback, dude does deserve bread. But 258, Sel,
I'm listening.
after one good season seems a little excessive, a little quickly. 258 isn't excessive if it wouldn't have come so soon. It wouldn't have come so soon if it wouldn't have been so excessive. But to see so much so soon is where I'm like, I don't know, Sel, I don't know.
Man, you should know, because we got to now have perspective. We now have to bring in some comps in the NFL as well, not just the NBA, but I understand why you said that. You get paid off for 2 things.
Talk to me.
Potential and production. Now, you can get paid off potential. I got paid off potential. I only started 1 year. Bad money, good money, I don't know. But the point is, you can get paid off potential if you show them something, and you also get paid off production. Highest paid contract 2 years ago was all potential. Jimmy G. Like, it's not about do they deserve it. I'm saying who's going to get it. You're going to get it if you show potential and they see something of production. And that's what you're going to see with Josh Allen. Let me remind you what Buffalo was. When I left to when Josh Allen took over, 2000 to 2017, 14 different quarterbacks. Okay. Only 2 made 10 or more starts and had a winning record. Oh, okay. And that's only 2 games over 500, Tyrod Taylor, and Kyle Orton, 2 games over 500. So let's just say they were a little hungry for a franchise quarterback.
Of course.
Now, a franchise that has Jim Kelly as a part of its alumni base also can say that Josh Allen, you say it's just 1 season. He broke the franchise record in single-season touchdown passes. That's with Jim Kelly on that same organization. Completion percentage, 300-yard games, passing yards, total touchdowns. I understand. All the numbers get inflated.
Yes, sir.
Because of the passing game, and he's younger. But the point is, he did things Jim Kelly never did. He did things that you've not seen another quarterback in a Buffalo Bills uniform do. Now, since he always improves, 5 wins, 10 wins, 13 wins, 52 completion percentage, 58, 69. Why do you think he's ever going to go anywhere but up? Because he continues to move forward.
But, Sal, it's hard to play the comparative game. Who's the best receiver in Buffalo Bills history?
Eric Moulds.
Eric Moulds, best receiver in Buffalo.
Look at that. Don't say that. Andre Reed somewhere is like, what? That was my teammate, too. I had to get out there. All right.
Okay, best receiver in Buffalo Bills history. Andre Reed.
James Lofton.
Most yards he ever had in a season was 1,300.
I know.
Stephon Diggs just had 1,500.
I know.
So to your point, it's hard to say that Josh Allen breaking a great's records as actually meaningful because inflation is so great in the game now that we can't even necessarily compare what Josh Allen is doing to what other greats are doing because Andre Reed, best receiver in Buffalo Bills history, he has 200 less yards than Stephon Diggs in his first year in the Buffalo system.
But you see what you did.
What I do?
In that sentence, it wasn't too crazy to even make that comparison, and that's the beauty of it. You're talking about Jim Kelly, Hall of Famer, and then you're like, well, it's not fair to Josh Allen. That's great to Josh Allen. He's in that sentence, and you're not kicking him out and aborting him.
I'm with you. But honestly, I have no issue because I like Josh Allen, and we're going to get into it later. Again, I think Josh Allen is more likely to have NFL success than Lamar Jackson.
Okay.
But still, to guarantee $150 million per the reports after one good season. Because we've seen one bad season. And we've seen what I thought was a mediocre season. I didn't think it was bad his sophomore year. After 2 playoff wins, a 2-win-2 playoff record, doesn't that give you a little It should. Not even does it. It should give you a little cause for pause, Sel.
No,
115 guaranteed.
No.
They didn't have to do it.
Okay, I'll give you something that's not inflated. 13 wins. That tied the franchise record in terms of wins. That's not inflation. Jim Kelly, all them guys, 13 wins. 13 wins, franchise record tied. Let's also give you something that's not inflation. He rushed for 25 touchdowns in his first 3 seasons. Only Cam Newton has been able to do that. Okay, we keep talking about him throwing the football, which is a part of it. He can throw it end zone to end zone in the cold and snow of Buffalo, bruh. He has all the skills. He's mobile. Don't let the paint job fool you. He's mobile. He can throw. And more importantly, he has the humility. He has the mantra. He has the moxie, as coaches would say. This dude wasn't even recruited highly out of high school. I know how that feels. He attended Wheatley Junior College, then went to Wyoming, which is not known for a quarterback school. And all of a sudden, he gets to the NFL, and all he does is this. So a lowly recruit who has to transfer to go to Wyoming has been improving, not just in his NFL years, since he was in high school. The dude has not gone backwards in 10+ years. But why do you now have caution or pause when you have to give a guy and reward him for what he's done?
The only reason I have pause is because when they did it and how much they did it for. You didn't have to pay Josh Allen right now. You know, he's going into his 4th year.
Why not?
But he's a first-round pick, so you could pick up the 5th-year option. So you could get him cheap for the 4th. You could get him cheap for the 5th. Remember, Cowboys wish they could have done that with Dak.
Cowboys wish they could have.
They couldn't do it. Dak's 5th year, he was 4th-round pick. So he didn't get the 5th-year option. They had to tag him, had to pay him that
But they
35
waited on Dak. And what happened? Dak became the 2nd highest paid player in NFL history. Is Dak the 2nd best quarterback?
No, sir.
No. Josh Allen has a chance to be the 2nd best quarterback.
Yes, sir.
You don't want to pay him when he is the 2nd best quarterback, like officially, right? Right now, he's in the projections top 5. Everyone's like, he's 5-ish, right? Keep him there. And they still paid him 2nd most because he's right there with Dak. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' contract is so weirded out. But the point is, in guarantees, he's right there with Dak. And thank you, because he shouldn't be. He should be way higher. And if you wait, he's going to be way higher.
I understand the thought process.
Come on, man.
Let's spend that money. I can't get behind the paying of a projection. You said they pay for performance, or they pay for
potential and production.
Potential and production. But this seems like they paid 70% for potential and 30% for production. Because if you look at production in totality, again, if I just look at last year, Josh Allen is one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. If you just look at last year, 4,900 total yards, 37 passing touchdowns, 44 total touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He'd be one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history if you just look at last year. But if you look in totality, are you essentially saying Josh Allen has no remnants of who he was his rookie season and his sophomore season? That is completely erased from who Josh Allen is.
Oh, absolutely, because it's been erased every step of the way. If you followed him from high school, just reading up on him, no star recruit out of high school. I was better than that. No star. See, you understand when we're talking about Mr. Texas over there, 6 stars over there. This dude was a no star. Now he's Josh Allen. And look how it's come. It's been slow but steady.
You said last year you saw Josh Allen start to have those flashbacks of spazzing out in the playoffs.
Oh, no, he got a moment because he's a human being. I remember my rookie year. No, it wasn't my rookie year. It's my 2nd year when we were playing Peyton Manning. And Peyton Manning was kind of sorry. Like, he was figuring it out. He was 3-13, but he threw 28 touchdowns, but he threw probably 28 interceptions too. Like, it was just like ridiculous. And Coach Wade Phillips said, we better get to him now, because it ain't going to be long before he gets us back. And we saw him the next year. They were 13-3. Like, the next year, we were like, whoa. And I remember looking at our scouting report. It had 2 sides. Pros, like everything he did well. And I was like, there ain't another side now. The list was as long. Cons, you know, after we evaluate players, there's always something. With Josh Allen, his issue is late in games, when the pressure's on, he gonna turn into a bad news bear. Like, for a couple plays, he's just gonna throw it backwards. He's just gonna spaz out. He's tightly wound like that. I got 2 stories for you, man, before we get out of here. One is why I think you have to invest in him and invest in his potential and the little production you see. You ever heard of a investment firm, venture capitalist by the name of Andreessen and Horowitz? You ever heard of that firm? Yeah. I went to, Columbia, Ben Horowitz, my dog. All right, respect. You know, all they do is invest in potential.
Of course. Yep.
You know that's the way the world is ran right now. All the money is investing in potential and hope it pops. 1 out of 10 pops, you won. That's all you need, right? You need a unicorn. The rest of them fail, who cares? He's not failing. He's showing you progress every single year, the comps you need to invest in. Shout out to Andreessen and Horowitz. Here's the second thing, and I saw this happen to a lot of guys who didn't make the same money I made, even though I thought that they may have been as good, if not better. Remember, I always talk about 15 sacks. How you get there? 0-5-10 or 10-5-0. At the end of the third year, they're not paying them two dudes the same. I'm paying 0-5-10. Oh, sorry. I'm paying Josh Allen. Coming up, Steph Curry and Ben Simmons could become teammates. But we'll tell you if the Warriors should want them. But first, are the Cowboys contenders or pretenders in the NFC? Y'all saw them last night. That didn't matter. We'll answer that question next. Don't speak for yourself. I need some programming sound.
The Cowboys lost last night to the Steelers in the Hall of Fame game, but the bigger focus is on the regular season. 16 players, including Dak Prescott, did not make the trip for a Dallas team that is trying to shake off 2 straight seasons without making the playoffs. Head coach Mike McCarthy summed up the Cowboys' first game. Take a listen.
I'm more about building what we were able to accomplish. Definitely there's going to be a lot to correct. We need to play better complementary football.
Uh-oh. Oh, he said it. He said it. So go ahead and ask the question. You already know you're in trouble.
Are the Cowboys pretenders or contenders in the NFC?
No, first of all, it reads contenders or pretenders. Say it in the right order because that's the order. Yes, they're contenders. Try to lead me the wrong way. Contenders, be real. To talent. The talent is second to none in the entire NFL. Not even just in their division, not just in their conference. The entire NFL, second to none. Now, we have the talent, but can we mix this up in terms of our potion, in terms of what we're going to do and how we're going to call our plays and how we're going to work together? Are we going to make this chemistry work so we can maximize this talent, this potential? I heard him say it. Complementary football. What Tom Brady preaches, what Bill Belichick preaches, what Bruce Arians had to learn last year after the bye week when Tom Brady pulled him to the side to say, hey, bro, complementary football. I understand we have the talent. We have the receivers, we have the running backs, we have the defense, but we're not playing together. The Cowboys have taken their lumps. That's what's important about this process. When you have the talent and you don't have the results and you took the lumps, now you weathered that storm. And if they can stay healthy, which all signs would point that they would stay healthy, at least that's the way we're talking right now, you got a squad that will go out there not only win their division, be at home in the playoffs and ready to make some noise. So, yes, they're contenders just because of the NFC least, because of their talent level, and because now their mindset is complementary football.
So I have to disagree. Now, I do think the Cowboys will win the NFC. Well, no, I don't. I think they can win the NFC East. But as it pertains to the NFC, the Cowboys are pretenders. If they were not called the Cowboys, we would not even consider them anything, Sal. Haven't won a NFC championship game in 25 years. Their starting quarterback has one playoff win. Their head coach has not had a winning record in the last 5 years. Yet somehow and for some reason, we look at that organization with that resume and we say that they are pretenders. The reason they are pretenders in my mind is because they have individuals that are pretending. Mike McCarthy is still pretending to be a Super Bowl caliber head coach. He's forever a Super Bowl winning head coach.
But that's not a pretend.
He's still pretending to be a Super Bowl caliber head coach. You can be a Super Bowl winner but not be Super Bowl caliber. Don't get twisted.
Really? I thought once a doctor, always a doctor. Call me doctor.
You can be an Olympic gold medalist but not be Olympic gold medal caliber. You know this. We've been watching track and field.
I ain't asked for that example.
Okay. Jerry Jones is still pretending to be a Super Bowl caliber general manager, a Super Bowl caliber owner. Love Jerry Jones as it pertains to being a businessman, but he's still pretending to be a Super Bowl caliber
highest value franchise, most talented roster, but he pretending? I'm listening.
That's talking about money.
Hey, I'm talking about players.
Talent and team do not equal the same.
Complementary football.
Exactly.
I'm listening.
Cowboys, sir, they're pretenders because, Sel, they've won the division 3 times in 11 years. But let me break it down for you because you're a smart man and y'all are smart individuals. We know the Cowboys in the worst division. So assuming they win that division, they will be a 4 seed. That means they have to start in the playoffs facing a 5 seed. Well, the 5 seed will be the best of the non-division winners, meaning you're either playing the Seahawks, the Rams, or the Niners. The Cowboys with Dak Prescott last year lost to the Rams. The Cowboys with Dak Prescott last year lost to the Seahawks. The Rams have gotten better. The Seahawks have probably stayed the same as the Cowboys have stayed the same this offseason. So even if the Cowboys do win the NFC East and contend in that division, they got to see the Seahawks or the Rams or the Niners. Teams that they already proven they can't beat.
Really?
Should be scared. You just lost to them last year. You didn't get no better.
Yeah. How do you know that? First of all, they did get better because Dak Prescott's healthy.
They lost to him with Dak. I knew you were going to do that.
Hold on. Dak is back. Everyone plays better with him. You keep discounting
on a Hallmark card, Sel.
Okay.
Dak is back.
You ready?
Dak is back.
You
got
ready
one
for this?
playoff win.
You ready? You say 3 in the last 11, right?
Yes, sir.
How many in the last 5?
2.
Thank you. So
let's
let's
do 40%. You're a 40% free throw shooter. That'll get you traded out of Philly.
We ain't talking about free throws. We talking about winning your division where there's 4 other teams. So it should be a little lower than that, but it's not because they win the chunk of it. What's Dak's record in that division since you want to talk it?
19-6.
Oh, is that good or bad?
Fair.
Is that 40%? Yeah, exactly. My point is this. This team is loaded for this moment. I don't understand. You want to bring up the NBA. They always talk about you got to go through the rites of passage. You got to go take your lumps before you become a team.
Yes,
Milwaukee, the champions right now, went through it, probably got discounted or people just discarded them. Now look at them. They're champions. Same thing happened with the Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Pittsburgh Steelers, all they did was have a change of quarterback, and all of a sudden, one team won 11 straight games, 12-4. The other team won the Super Bowl. All they did was say either quarterback stay healthy or quarterback come in. That's the Dallas Cowboys. You're getting your quarterback to come back in because he's healthy. It's Dak Prescott. He's won the division when healthy as many times as he's not won the division. Half and half, 2 or 4 years. All right? So the point is, why do you look at this team with all this talent that now has a Super Bowl head coach and they finally went through the rigors as a team that's not ready for this moment?
Because the Cowboys can't contend with the Buccaneers. We both know that.
Chill.
Can they?
No.
Thank you.
But hold on. But the team that won their sorry division was only down 5 in the fourth quarter with a chance to win.
Cowboys can't contend with Cowboys can't contend with the Bucs. I'm not convinced that the Cowboys can contend with the Rams. I do not think that the Rams, they couldn't. I don't think.
Did you see how the Green Bay looked against the Rams?
I don't think. I'm glad you brought that up. Cowboys can't contend with the Packers. Not if Aaron Rodgers is there. Cowboys, they will look like they can contend with the Seahawks, but I don't think they can contend with the Seahawks. So what are they really contenders for in the NFC? Woo. They are contenders in the NFC East, but they're not contenders in the entire NFC. So I mean, come on, so remove the bias.
What's the bias?
Remove the love.
I was bad in Dallas. I ain't got no bias. If anything, I got hate.
And just be real.
What?
This team has been more talented and has accomplished lesser. Like the 2016 Cowboys that Dak walked into, that was a squad. You had a young Zeke who was in his bag. You had a healthy Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. At least 1 to 2 of them are going to make it into the Hall of Fame. You had a Cole Beasley, who now the world knows is an all-pro, but Cole was still a dude. You had Jason Witten before retirement. You had Dez Bryant, who was struggling with injuries, but was still a Ring of Honor, most touchdowns in Cowboys franchise history. Dez Bryant.
That's what we do.
You had Sean Lee on the backside, who was healthy. You had Byron Jones.
Wow.
You had Orlando Scandrick before he was coming on TV talking crazy. You had some dogs.
No, Orlando different, ain't he? He be going in. I love that. I love it.
Selling. You got a playoff winner.
Wait a minute. Which one are you? You the one that when I bring up talent, you shoot it down. And then when you want to bring up talent, then I'm supposed to listen to it. I don't care about those names. I don't care about the talent. Which one is it?
What do you care about?
I care about the talent, but you just try to tell me I shouldn't.
I'm saying I have seen more talented Cowboys teams fall short. So if you gonna talk to me about talent, I'm gonna say, hey, I've seen a bigger hand win less money. Don't show me this hand. Show me who's playing the hand.
I didn't start off showing you that hand. I showed you the complimentary football hand. You forget the beginning of this. Golly, short-term memory loss. How many times you got hit in the head? You retired early for a reason. Here's the thing. Complimentary football activates all this talent. That's all this is, and I don't know why you don't respect this. Do you understand that the Dallas Cowboys were averaging points per game, 32.5 points before Dak went down? Do you understand if they finish the season with that average and the defense does what it did, which is improve over the latter part of the season? This is a playoff team and a contending team. Let's talk about the inertia. Let's talk about the momentum. Let's talk about the confidence build that happens once all of a sudden you go on a roll and you're this talented as a Dallas Cowboys team. You think they're going to walk in with the same mindset that they would if, oh, we're struggling, oh, we're trying to figure it out, oh, we're trying to find our way. Once this thing gets rolling, it rolls over anyone in this way because it's just that supremely talented.
So I walked into studio today. And when I walked in the studio today and you sat down, you looked at me. Now, when your boy looks fresh, you'll say something. Ooh, I see your Acho breaking out that suit, X, Y, and Z. I see your big dog. That one's fresh. You will pay me a compliment. But you will only pay me a compliment when I am worthy of a compliment. So you can only play complimentary football if the type of football is worthy of a compliment. And Ezekiel Elliott's type of football as of late has not been worthy of a compliment. So stop talking to me about complimentary football because you can't compliment the football that the Cowboys are playing as it pertains to the running game.
Wasn't Zeke still top 10 last year despite all of this?
Top 10 in what? Because gross yardage is vastly different.
No, you're right. But I think what we're doing right now is exaggerating his demise. I think what we're really looking at is just the descent from heavens that he used to be.
The devil descended from the heaven.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but he ain't the devil. I'm just saying. He worked with him. He worked very well with the devil. Like, he got the six-pack back. He different. Cowboys last year, look at the things that they dealt with on the defensive side in terms of injuries, in terms of not playing complimentary football is what I'm saying. I don't have the evidence, the resume to say to believe in the Cowboys because all I have is the potential. And I understand you're not buying that potential because the potential's been there. The potential's been greater.
Yes, sir. That's all I'm saying.
The way that the Patriots won all those Super Bowls wasn't just sitting there saying we had the most talent. It was we're going to find and maximize the most out of this talent. I think the Cowboys are in that mindset now, finally. They've been forced to get to this place. Ezekiel Elliott through his roller coaster, Dak because of injury, and McCarthy realizing his way is not working. You start to hear things that are successful, the recipes for success, complimentary football. We'll see because I hope I'm right because, damn, he's starting to wear me out on these Dallas Cowboys arguments until they start playing games. Coming up, the Ravens are being called the most dominant team in the league. Yeah, we'll tell you how dominant Lamar Jackson's squad can be next on Speak For Yourself. Where? Tomorrow on FS1, NL East rivals are at it again as the Mets battle the Phillies. Then the Diamondbacks take on the Padres. It's an MLB doubleheader beginning tomorrow, 3 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. Let that song go. And speaking of Mets, Phillies, David Ortiz is putting his money on the line on the Fox Bet Super 6 app. It's free to play, so scan the QR code below. Download the app and answer 6 questions about tomorrow's game for your chance to win $1,000 of Big Papi's money. Now let's head to Baltimore, y'all, where the Ravens came in 4th in Yahoo's power rankings, so expectations are obviously high. Des Bryant said his former team could, quote, easily be the most dominant team in the league. He added you should not be able to cover any wideout because of Lamar Jackson in the run game. So, Acho, how dominant can Lamar's Ravens be?
The Ravens can be as dominant this year as the Buffalo Bills were last year.
So that's with a ceiling?
With a ceiling. You can win a playoff game, maybe 2, but they're not about to go and win a chip. And it's not no indictment necessarily on the Ravens, but just the way sports work. You alluded to it. Before you ascend to the top of the mountain, you have to pass checkpoints.
Yeah.
It's in sports, it's in life. Y'all go back to video games. You couldn't just turn on Mario and go straight to beating Bowser. You feel me? You got to beat somebody and then beat somebody else and beat them. And then you get to play Bowser. Patrick Mahomes, as great as he is, he didn't walk into the league and go straight to the Super Bowl. Yeah. He walked into the league, he lost the AFC Championship game, and then he went to and won the Super Bowl. Giannis, as great as he is, he didn't walk into the league and go straight to an NBA championship. He lost, like you just brought up last block, Eastern Conference Finals, then Conference Semis, and then went to the championship. I would submit if the Suns were to find their way back in the NBA Finals next year, they'd probably win because it's just the way it works mentally as a team, as a coach, as an organization. You got to get there first, get to the hill, and then get over the hill. So the Ravens can be dominant, but I think, again, Sel, they can be regular season dominant. Why do I say that, and what does that mean? I wasn't planning on going here, but I love that we both played a game. In a regular season, you only have 2 to 3 real days to prepare for an opponent.
Yeah.
You play a game on Sunday. I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to them, but it looks like I'm talking to you. You play a game on Sunday. Monday's an off day or Tuesday's an off day, depending on the organization. Monday, therefore, is a recovery day, or Tuesday is a recovery day, depending on the organization. Wednesday and Thursday are your grueling days of practice. You're out on the field for about 2 hours and 5 minutes. You're in meetings for another 3 hours collectively. Defensive meetings, positional meetings, special teams meetings. By Friday, it's a walkthrough, depending on the organization, a glorified walkthrough. Saturday, you rev things up. Some organizations flip it. Saturday is a walkthrough. Friday, you rev things up. It's 2 to 3 practice days. But come to playoffs, Sel, you already know what it is. I only went to the playoffs once, but come to playoffs, week 17, your coaches are no longer really studying the week 17 game unless you have to win. They're not studying that game.
They own.
Week 17, the last week of the season, or week 18 this year, the quality control coach, the not the GA, because GA is college, but the assistant coaches, they already prepping for that playoff game. So if you got to see the Ravens, they're no longer worried about you playing the Bengals week 17. They're now already studying for Lamar Jackson.
Break it down.
So what is typically only 2 days of preparation in the regular season has turned into 6 to 7 days of preparation in the postseason. I think the Ravens can be regular season dominant, but I think by the postseason, the adjustment will start to occur again, and I don't see them being Super Bowl dominant this year.
Now, because of the lack of preparation or the
Yes.
intense focus, you don't think that they can make that transition and that leap?
Correct. I put it like this.
Okay,
Let me break it down for those that not only watch the NFL, but watch it down college.
I'm here.
Playing the University of Oklahoma, probably the toughest opponent I had to prepare for in college or the NFL.
Okay.
University of Oklahoma, they don't run a ton of plays, but they run them so fast, you don't know your left from right. Oh my, they already under center. Typically, they just running play action right or handoff right, play action left or handoff left, with the bootlegs off of all of it. But they're so hard to prepare for. OU runs through the Big 12. But we've seen them get to the college football playoffs. I believe it's the last 3 years or 2 of the last 3 years. And what happens? They get smacked.
Yeah.
Now, it's not just because now they're playing the LSUs of the world, playing the Georgias of the world. But come the college football playoffs, now you have more time to prepare for Oklahoma.
Yeah.
So what's typically hard during a week when you only got 2 to 3 practice days, oh, you give me a week and 2? Now I understand, hey, when they go hurry up, all they're running is stretch right, stretch left, boot off the right, boot off the left, straight drop back, zone read, zone power. All of a sudden, now you have more time to prepare for that, and thus you have a better chance of stopping them. I think it's the same thing with Lamar.
Okay, here we go. That's what I need to hear. What stops the Ravens aren't the opponents, it's themselves.
Okay.
It's Greg Roman. It's what Des Bryant's talking about. This should be the most dominant team in the league. Why? Simple principles of football. Reggie Bush and I had this conversation at length one time. Simple principles of football is if I can threaten you and really extremely threaten you, like to the point of like respect, almost fear, then everything else opens up. Same thing happens in basketball. If I got a J, why does 7-footers now shoot 3-pointers? Because it opens up everything else, especially if you have the athleticism to dribble drive. So when you're a running back, if I know and you know I can run you over, oh, you in trouble, because I can juke.
I can do anything
I can
to
do
you.
anything to you. But if I don't threaten you, then guess what? It's going to be tough to do anything. That's the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens can run the football effectively, and you pointed it out. In the regular season, they win the division, second in the division. They lose in the playoffs, they win one playoff game and lose, right? Okay, that's the Baltimore Ravens in summary. Here's the problem, just like that running back. They don't play complementary football. They don't use their juking ability because all they want to do is run you over. Guess what? You just sit there and say, okay, you can run me over. It's going to hurt, but I'm going to hold on and get the tackle. Des Bryant highlighted what I've been highlighting as well. Greg Roman, get out your own way. They're not beating you. The fact that you're not using all of your capabilities because you're leaning supremely on one ability, which is to run the football, complementary passing game is out the window. Greg Roman has been an offensive coordinator for 8 years, bro. There's no way that this should be the reality. Top 10 in running every single year and bottom 10 in passing every single year. No way. At least be a human being and being imperfect. One of those years, you should be a little less in running and a little better in passing. He's not. He's the same robotic dude. So get out your own way. It's not about the opponents. Let me give it to you like this. All their playoff losses, the 3 consecutive years, can be their lumps. Because this is a team that's won more regular season games than any other team since 2018. Chiefs are second. So, hold on. We've won the most games in the regular season. We ready, brick wall. We ready, brick wall. We ready, get through one step, brick wall. That could be their lumps. That could be their Milwaukee Bucks rite of passage. That's the way I'm looking at their scene.
Well, here's the question, because you're not wrong. But for you to be right, Lamar Jackson would have to be a future Hall of Famer that we hope he is. Why do I say that? You said the last 3 years the Ravens have been incredible. I don't know if you know this stat. I know you all do not know this stat. The Ravens over the last 3 years have the greatest point differential in NFL history without making a conference championship game.
Yeah.
The greatest point differential in NFL history, plus 516 over the last 3 years without making an NFL championship game. The San Francisco 49ers from 85 to 87, they come in second, plus 481. But in 88, I believe they went 2 and 1 back-to-back Super Bowls. The New England Patriots from 2008 until 2010, they come in third. So Baltimore Ravens the last 3 years, then the 49ers from 85 to 87, but they won back-to-back Super Bowls after that. And then you have the New England Patriots from 8 to 10. but they went to the Super Bowl in 11.
Yeah.
Here are the Ravens. If Lamar Jackson is who we hope he is to be, then we should see a Super Bowl or something like that out of him. Because Tom Brady ended up taking him to 1-11.
Yep.
Steve Young ends up going, I believe, back-to-back. You're the historian, correct me if I'm wrong, or somebody in my ear if I'm wrong. Steve Young goes back-to-back, 88-89, with the Niners. So if Lamar Jackson is in that category, then he got to take him there.
Yeah, it wasn't Steve Young, but yeah, I get, oh man, stop this on Lamar. This dude, oh God. One thing I hate is, obviously, if someone doesn't make it. But another thing I hate even more is, golly, something got in your way. Worse, you got in your own way. Someone wearing the same colors as Lamar Jackson is getting in his way. And that's just in concept. I'm not blaming Greg Roman in terms of intention. He's just doing what he knows what to do. He's just doing what works for him. That's why that point differential is so high. Here's the problem. He also has to understand that styles make fights. So in the regular season, those are different fights than the postseason, right? I hear it a lot in college basketball, especially, even the pro game. Oh, you better work on your half-court offense. Why? Because in the playoffs, things slow down. And, most teams don't want to work on it. Most teams are like, run it, gun it, shoot it, let's go. And then things do slow down. And then you start to see how teams respond to that. Well, you've already had 1, 2, 3 playoff losses, shortcomings based on your record overall. It's time to prepare for when things slow down. And that's complementary football. That is more so than just relying on your good defense or your passing game. Rashad Bateman just drafted. You have enough weapons out there. Just go out there and try and expose.
I got a question, and I'm asking you as much as I'm asking myself.
Let's go.
Does Greg Roman take too much heat? I honestly start to think he does. I'm starting to think he does. Here's why, Sel. Greg Roman takes heat for allowing his best player to do what he does best.
Okay.
If Patrick Mahomes were to go out and throw the ball 50 times a game, we wouldn't really be all that upset. Yeah. If Kevin Durant were to go out and shoot the ball 40 times a game, we've seen it before, we're not that upset. But Greg Roman lets Lamar Jackson, who might be the best runner from the quarterback position ever, or in the conversation with Michael Vick, Greg Roman allows Lamar Jackson to do what he does best. And yet we look at Greg Roman like, hey, big dog, let him throw more. We don't ask the Chiefs to let Patrick Mahomes run more. We hardly ask the Chiefs to let their running backs run more. We don't tell Kevin Durant go pass more. We don't tell Giannis to shoot more threes. We tell our best to do what they do best. So Greg Roman is just making and demanding Lamar Jackson strictly play to his dominant type of play. I think he might be catching too much heat for that.
I don't think so, because it's not the first time we saw Greg Roman have a transcendent talent. Colin Kaepernick was a transcendent talent. Like, there was a moment where Ron Jaworski and myself and many others were saying, there's not a more talented player at the quarterback position than Colin Kaepernick because of his running ability and his throwing ability. Now, that doesn't mean it turned into full production. We all saw that shortcoming. But in terms of skill set, Colin Kaepernick was second to none. Here's the problem. Kurt Warner highlighted this, and I keep telling people, go on YouTube, type in Kurt Warner, Baltimore Ravens, and watch for about 10 minutes and understand what I'm saying. You know this better than anyone else out there. Concepts, route tree. I talk to receiver after receiver, and they will tell you right there from hello if their system is going to amplify their game or it's going to be something they're going to have to drag in terms of the system to catch up to their game. In this situation, Colin Kaepernick got figured out. I remember watching it. I was like, wait a minute. Now, people were saying, well, it's the play calling, it's this and that. And I was like, and it's part on him as well, as always. But here we go again. Here we go again with the guy who shouldn't have been a quarterback. Here we go again with the guy who couldn't throw, supposedly. And then here we go again with the guy who couldn't do all that but led the league in passing touchdowns. So now here's the proposition, Greg Roman. Since he already showed you he can pass because he led the entire NFL in passing touchdowns, you throw the ball, you let him cook, forget Russ, you let my man Lamar cook to the point where you don't let him stop cooking until he throws the most interceptions. This whole, we got this balance, but it's really out of balance, leaning towards the running game, it's cute. It's great. It opens up things. But what is it opening it up if you don't throw the football? There have been routes that I've seen from the Baltimore Ravens where the fullback is out there playing X. Why is he out there? Nobody cares. Why are we having the fullback out there running deep routes? Why are we having the fullback running 1-yard routes? And then you see Lamar Jackson time and time again have to run the football because the concepts are undermining what they could do in complementary football.
But the question of being careful what you wish for, and I know a lot of people that are behind the scenes on the show realize this.
Yeah.
When Greg Roman left is really the beginning of Colin Kaepernick's utter demise.
Yeah.
So it's almost be careful what you wish for because we have such a skewed idea of who Kaepernick is because of the off the field and it's been such a long time. But Colin Kaepernick was a generational type of talent.
He was silly.
5-2 his first year, then 12-4 that next year. They go to a Super Bowl, as we all know. They go to conference championship games. But then Greg Roman leaves in 2-6 and 1-10. So
everybody left too.
Everybody left too. And
I'm about to say Harbaugh. A lot to do with that.
But I put it like this, though.
Yeah.
I don't ever think we'd see a 1-10 Lamar Jackson unless we would. So we slight Greg Roman, but maybe Greg Roman is actually worthy of more praise. Maybe Greg Roman is actually the biggest conduit to Lamar Jackson's success. To your point, and that's where I'm in.
Could be.
You maybe have PTSD when you talked about a running back. If a running back can run you over, now you're scared. Because if he can run you over, now you got to brace for impact. Then he got you flat-footed. That's when he shakes you.
Everything coming.
If a running back shakes you, now he got you. Because now you're on your tiptoes waiting for him to make a move and pop out. He just hits you in the face.
Yeah.
But if a running back can do neither, you have no fear.
Right.
Greg Roman has at least made it to the point where Lamar Jackson scares you because for sure you got to sit flat-footed because he might just run at you. Yeah. And now he can go over the top.
Right.
Without Greg Roman, there could be the point where you're not scared of Lamar Jackson at all because what he gonna do to you? If Greg Roman weren't as dominant with the run game, then you ain't got to fear that drag. You ain't got to fear that left hook. Yeah. So now you're just sitting here like, oh, he can't do anything well.
You're sitting on some rocks. I don't see how you look so comfortable. You're sitting on them rocks. What you really are starting from is a different place than me. You don't think he's an elite thrower of the football. You don't think he's an elite passer. So therefore, you're saying throw out the running game and go. And we got to lead with that because that's your best attribute. When I'm not seeing that. One, I remember first game I saw Baltimore Ravens, and I remember coming back to the show. You weren't here, obviously. And I was like, Lamar Jackson could throw. Like, you just watch it in pregame. I was like, he could throw. Then we started seeing him accurate. It was against the Chargers. That's why I was here. I was like, he could throw. It's not, let's get that out the window. Then it turned into him the next year leading the league in touchdowns. I was like, remember the first game, Miami Dolphins, 5 touchdown passes? Now everybody can say, well, everyone was playing up for the run. Here's the thing. I want to make sure that I never go to my grave questioning, can he throw the football? By being so cautious that we don't call the plays to figure out if he's really an elite thrower or not. I'm convinced he is. I understand people who are not. But the only reason those people exist is because Greg Roman is allowing them to exist. Why don't you play true balanced football?
It's tough. Greg Roman is allowing them to exist. But without Greg Roman, we wouldn't know if Lamar Jackson was going to do anything elite.
Don't you do that.
No. Lamar Jackson's a freak. Y'all don't even dare resist him. Lamar Jackson is
I know what you're saying, but
like,
come on,
we don't know if Lamar Jackson was ever going to display that he could do anything.
Why we got him on a short bus in terms of quarterbacks?
Here's the thing. I would rather Lamar Jackson and the Ravens be first in the run game and be 31st in the pass game than be 16th and 16th. At least I know you're great at something.
Why?
And you can be better at another thing, but don't just be average.
And die with these results? Because they're not living with them. They're dying with these results. It's time to mix it up. I understand. That's the way you come out. Those are cards you want to play. Diller gave you something back. It's time to change it up. It's time to play a new game. And that's what Dez is talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hopefully, Greg, you understand it. Change it up, brother. Top 10 in passing. Coming up, Jalen Hurts has not been named the Eagles starter yet. We'll tell you if Philly is mishandling their quarterback situation. That's next. Don't speak for yourself. Ooh, you talking real football. Let's head to Philly, where Carson Wentz is in Indy, so on paper, looks like Jalen Hurts was a lock to be the Eagles starting quarterback. Well, not so fast, according to Nick Sirianni. New Eagles head coach talked about not naming Hurts the starting quarterback yet. Take a listen. Come on.
There's just no rush there on having to do that, and we just want him to continue to impress and show like he has, and yeah, we're just not there yet.
Oh, Acho. Eagles mishandling Jalen Hurts by not naming him the starter.
Yes, the Eagles they're just handling the situation dumb. Coaches, understand that your players are grown individuals. I'll give it to you in story time, so.
Let's go.
Well, Philly, my last year there, after the last preseason game, we played the New York Jets. We had to cut the roster from 75 down to 53, like every team in the league, and it's happened for the last several decades in the NFL. Everybody's grown. Roster cuts have to occur. After our last game, we have a team meeting. All 75 players are sitting in the auditorium. You remember this. Defensive linemen sitting in the front.
Smell it here.
Everybody's sitting in there. Our head coach, Chip Kelly, he comes to the front of the room. I think I've told this story before. And he says, gentlemen, great job this preseason. Make sure you turn in all your sweats. We want to make sure we wash them and get them right back to you. So make sure you turn in all your sweats. We can wash them and get them right back to you. I'm thinking to myself, Chip, the roster has to be cut down from 75 to 53 tomorrow. You don't want our sweats to wash them and get them back to us. You want to wash our sweats because the dudes you cutting, they ain't never going to see their sweats again.
Man, go keep
But we're grown. We can handle that information.
Yeah. I don't need your sweats.
Jalen Hurts is grown. He can handle the fact that he is the starter. He's going to work hard as being the starter. The Philadelphia Eagles are grown. They understand the economics of football. They understand that Jalen Hurts ran Carson Wentz out of there by his play. And as a result, the job is his.
Yes.
You don't need to act, Nick Sirianni, as though it's going to make Jalen Hurts tougher. It's going to make this team mentally tougher by making everybody fight for their starting jobs. Some people are internally and intrinsically motivated. They don't need a pseudo or fake competition to actually work hard. Jalen Hurts has proven himself to be that type of individual. So you can say they're handling it properly, mishandling it. I just think they're handling it stupidly. That's what it comes down.
Great story. Did you keep your sweats?
I know the game. I ain't turn my sweats in.
You turn them in?
Oh, you ain't gonna cut me. I'm gonna keep these $100 sweats.
Did you get cut that year?
I got cut every year. I just got re-signed after.
At least I got that swag. You got that swag. Boy, I love your stories. All right, here we go. Yeah.
Wait.
What?
Why you love all my stories are depressing.
No, they're not.
You love my depressing stories of getting cut, getting injured, being maligned, being dejected, working out in the field. True story.
See, that's why I love it.
I got cut in Philly it wasn't on my birthday. I got cut in Philly the last day of cuts. So now when you get cut, you know you can't work out in the facility anymore. So I had to go to the Rocky Steps because the Rocky Steps. You were there? I go to Rocky Steps.
You did that?
But adjacent to the Rocky Steps, I couldn't work out on the steps. I didn't want people like, oh, you're Emmanuel Acho. I went to an empty field to do linebacker drills. But I didn't have linebacker bags. So I had to steal construction street cones. I laid the construction street cones on the grass. Real talk. Laid them on the grass, and I did linebacker drills over orange construction cones. Sal, don't love my stories. They sad, bro.
No, man, they are perspective giving. I mean, no lie, my NFL experience was like this, and look, it was greater than that in terms of I didn't get cut. I was so blessed. But still, it was ups and downs, man. I love when I hear somebody's downs because you always hear about the glorified ups, right? So it's good to know that it ain't all gravy on there. You know what I mean? Yeah, they mishandling in this situation. Ooh, this is a bad one, too, because Coach Sirianni, not only are we men, but we can see through the BS, brother. And when we see through it, we're going to be mad at you for making us have to see through it and sit through it as well, because it stinks. All right, here's the thing. We know that with every new coach, the new sheriff wants to set new laws. And they all do. I hate it when I always had a new coach. I'm like, all right, here we go. We're going to have to do something to prove that he's the man in charge. And it doesn't stroke his ego. It's for him to get his authority. So I understand the ego stroke part, but more so for the authority position. Okay, but here's the consequence of you getting your authority by making us go through this BS. We won't have a leader on this Philadelphia Eagles squad like we should in Jalen Hurts. I'm going to tell you why. Because every second and every day you question him as the starter, you allow us to question him as a starter. So now I don't listen to every word that comes out of his mouth. I look at both sides of his mouth when he talks. I'm like, yeah, I think Jalen good, man. That was a good throw. That was a good throw. But he ain't the starter for a reason. Well, then he throws something wobbly. Oh, see, that's why he ain't the man. But when he the man, we don't even question that. When you're a young leader, when you're a young quarterback, you need the wind at your back. You need the organization behind you. You need the coach to say, hey, all you vets out there making 5 times as much as him, that's been in the league 20 times longer than him, I don't need y'all to always come at him sideways. Respect that man. But right now, Nick is not giving him an opportunity. For the name of accountability, for the name of him getting more authority, I think the consequence is a lack of leadership.
And I think what coaches are doing are counterintuitive. It's to your point. I'm going into story time. I don't need these notes anymore. To your point, The second we realize you're lying, we respect you less.
Ooh,
Last time I checked in with the Philadelphia beat writer, they said that Jalen Hurts has taken 150 out of 150 first-team reps. So he's taken all the reps as a starter. Yeah. So if Jalen Hurts is taking every rep as a starter, then all the players on the practice field are looking like, well, he's playing like the starter and he's practicing like the starter, but you're not calling him the starter, so now you just being dumb.
Yeah.
Coaches fall in line with this unnecessary coaching jargon. We saw it with the Giants and Joe Judge. We're going to make you run laps. Last I checked, I believe 4 Giants players have retired in the midst of this training camp because of some of the stupidity. Maybe Judge didn't want him there. Dan Campbell, he has his players doing up-downs. This is not 5th grade, Dan Campbell. Either you're in shape or you're not. Why is a 35-year-old defensive lineman sitting here doing up-downs on the blow of a whistle? Coaches fall into this unnecessary coaching jargon that doesn't actually lead to wins, and I think that's what Nick Sirianni is doing. He's just doing what a coach is supposed to do. Oh, a coach is supposed to not name a starter, so I'm not going to name a starter. And the reality is, you ain't got to do all that.
Man, this takes me back. I don't really have story time, but Ice Cube had a lyric when he was on a date, and he would, you go on a date, first date, this is about, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? And you just sit there in your mind. He said, here's this BS conversation about my occupation. Here we go with this mandatory time wasting. And that's how it feels.
Give me that again.
He said, here's this BS conversation about my occupation. Here we go with this mandatory time wasting. And I swear, when you sit there, coach giving you that, you're like, this is some mandatory time wasting. Hey, man, if he ain't our starter, let him fail. Let him fail, because right now you got him in there, all the first team reps. We buy in. We know what it is. Can we stop playing? Because we want to get to playing with our leader. But right now, you're undermining him. Coming up, Allyson Felix, the homie, added another medal to her crowded trophy case. I ain't got no room. Where am I put this one? We'll tell you how impressive her Olympic career has been. Next on Speak for Yourself. Let's head to Tokyo. Allyson Felix won the bronze medal in the 400 meters today. Track legend has now won 10 medals, 6 gold, 3 silver, and 1 bronze, and is now tied with Carl Lewis, the GOAT, as the most decorated U.S. athlete in track history. So, Acho, how impressive is Allyson Felix's Olympic career?
So, Allyson Felix has to be considered one of the greatest athletes of all time, and not gender specific, just one of the greatest athletes of all time. She just tied for the most medals in the history of America. And mind you, she still has 1 more race left, likely to break it. But I got to focus on this. The reason that Allyson Felix does not get the praise that she so justly deserves is a microcosm of a macro issue in society.
Go!
See, bad news sells greater than good news. Allyson Felix has had no off-the-track issues. Allyson Felix has never been suspended. Allyson Felix has had no controversial issues. Allyson Felix just goes to work and goes to get medals. And yet, we don't talk about Allyson Felix enough. So it's time to talk about Allyson Felix. In 2019, it was December, I believe, Allyson Felix gave birth to her child 2 months early at 32 weeks. It was premature. Child had to stay in the NICU unit. Allyson Felix had a near-death experience. Allyson Felix comes back from that, publicly displays her scars, and goes on to win another medal and likely will win another gold medal here in the 4x4. I say this because of the quote that you said, and I will again say. You can impress someone with your success, but you can influence them with your scars. And if you see on that screen, Allyson Felix is not just trying to impress you with the success of her medals adorned around her neck. She's trying to influence you by also showing you the scars it took for her to overcome in order to attain those medals. So in a society where we choose to focus so much of our attention on bad news, on people who didn't necessarily achieve, I have to, I want to, I must focus my attention on one of the greatest athletes of all time in Allyson.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm glad we're doing this, too, because a lot of times I hear some of the criticism of the media of, look, we know that bad news travels fast.
Yes, sir.
And so, therefore, and it travels faster than good news, certainly. We're living testaments to that as well, if we really wanted to get deep into our stories of how doing the right thing doesn't always get you the attention you deserve in those moments. But it's the long game that you're playing, and she's played the long game. Allyson Felix graduated high school 2003. I remember being in the league watching Allyson Felix in high school because I'm an LA guy. I hear about her running, dominating the state meets, and I go and check her out, and I'm like, goodness, she is fast. Think about it. You're a 5-time Olympian. 5 times. You know, the amount of time you have to be in peak condition at peak performance level, 2 decades long. And that's who Allyson Felix is. Now, my greater point is I'm talking to not just the track purist, not just the track fan, not just the sports fan, but human beings out there. Because they always say, don't date your fantasy. And I remember hearing that. I was like, why? I want to date my fantasy. At the time, I can't say her name now because she's married. But you know what? Jay-Z did. So I always wanted to date my fantasy because it's just a fantasy. But they say don't do it because then you'll see the reality. And the reality is going to be shorter and less than the fantasy. Well, with Allyson Felix, here's the thing that I love about her. The fact that she is such a role model, such the person that you want to be around and want to empower and get the machine behind, that it's okay to date your fantasy. And this is what I mean by saying that. I got a chance to be around a lot of athletes that were heroes to me growing up. You know, you put their posters on your wall, and then all of a sudden, that's your homeboy. You put their poster on your wall, you're wearing their shoes. Next thing you know, you out with them eating. And you start to realize why you shouldn't date your fantasy. And it's not just about dating, it's about knowing them, because they start to let you down as a person. You're like, he is amazing at ball and he is horrible as a person. And then you start to look at people like, I don't care how good you are in sports, athlete, I care how great you are as a person. So I started to get into that lane of mindset. Now that means you ain't gonna hang out as much because you're like, dog, everybody want to hang around the fan favorite, but I'm like, y'all don't know the character. I know the character of Allyson. I know Allyson. Amazing. So I start going to track meets, not just saying who won the race, but who's really winning the race in life. And I look at Allyson like she winning the race in life. So as I see her right now in her last Olympics, going to hand the baton off to a Sydney McLaughlin who's looking the same way as Allyson in terms of character and greatness. That's who I want to prop up. I don't want to prop up people that I know that I can't tell my daughters, can't tell my sons. That's who you should be like as an athlete in its fullness because of the person who they're not.
Let's talk about this, because you talked about everything she's accomplished and everything she's accomplishing. Allyson Felix got dropped by her, 17-year-long sponsor of Nike.
Yeah.
Because Allyson Felix, she got pregnant and she had to work out late at night. She usually works out in the morning, but she had to work out late at night because she wanted to hide her pregnancy from Nike. Because, if you get pregnant as an athlete, well, we paying you for it. So Nike was like, you know what, Allyson, we're going to greatly reduce your contract. I believe she said it was by close to 75%. So Allyson was like, well, then I'm not going to re-sign. Instead, she goes and signs with a brand that has never had a track and field athlete. And not only that, she creates her own shoe so that women whoever are in the same issue as her, pregnant while competing, and then their sponsors want to drop them, no longer have to face the issues that she had to face.
Yeah.
Great sell. Not only are great for themselves, but greats pave a way to make sure that those that come after them can be even greater than they ever were, and that they do even greater things than they ever accomplished. Allyson Felix, a great, not only for herself, but also for paving the way. I got a question for you.
I don't
want to overtake your next lap, but
I ain't got no lap.
To me, the problem in society and sports, and we've seen it with Allyson and her lack of just due, is she's not polarizing enough. And I think there's a problem with the fact that in order to get praise, in order to get following, in order to get followers, you got to be controversial. You got to be polarizing. Last I checked, Allyson has under 950,000 followers. That was this morning before the show. That's not near some of the other big names that haven't accomplished nearly as much. But she's not polarizing.
No.
It comes back to the conversation we had yesterday. What's the value? Where's the value loss? Because why doesn't the Allyson Felix get praised by other shows besides Speak for Yourself, who are track aficionados?
Yeah, man. It's really a dynamic that happens to human beings where we are not attracted to the continuous success that we see from many of people when they do it the right way. What we are really attracted to is those things that stick out. Now, if you stick out from success, what does that look like? Let me tell you this. They always tell you that talent opens the door and character keeps you in the room, right? Okay, so her talent opened up the door. We know who Allyson Felix is. I did since high school. What's kept her Allyson Felix is the fact that she has high character. Here's the problem. Coach always says you're going to get bored with success. I swear right now, if there's something that you're working on and you master one level, you're not going to continue to use the same principles at the next level. Most people will try something new. They're going to try and reinvent the wheel. And they're going to pop off. And then all of a sudden, they're going to spin out of control. And then that's how they're going to get attention. Let's sum this up. This is the story of my life. There are a lot of analysts that have come and gone since I've been in the game. I've been in the game 14 years talking. There are a lot of analysts that are more popular than me and less popular than me. I get it. There's some that's going to come right by me. And then I just steady Eddie. And I don't pop off. To me, I don't. At least I know my potential. And I'm like, boy, y'all lucky I don't pop off. I keep it here because I'm trying to not only display my higher beings, but I got kids, man. I got family. I got kids that are not mine that look up to me and tell me, man, that's the way I want to do it. So I keep that in composure. Same with Allyson Felix. What happens in this society is, you ready for this? Now here we go. You got to remember the audience. In our audience, and anywhere in this world, most people fail. Mm-hmm. Failure is natural. Mm-hmm. Success is unnatural. So you got to remember who's judging you. People who have failed. This is a real story. The pyramid of success looks like this. And in the pyramid of success, the most room is at the bottom. Mm-hmm. Now, who is all these people that are following you? Who are all these people that are applauding you? I hate to tell y'all, but it's the people that are at the bottom just because of human nature, just because of the way it is. So those people who are applauding you are also the people that are not doing it themselves. So when you pop off and then you notice somebody that goes from nothing to everything, like Shaqiri, I bring up Shaqiri. People always say, don't compare these sisters. I'm going to compare them because one of them I respect and one of them I don't, because one wasn't responsible with their moment. Shaqiri wasn't responsible with her moment. But she gets applauded and lauded, and everybody's propping her up. Remember who's propping her up? Because that's a shortcoming for you not to be ready for that moment where every other Olympian is looking at you side-eye like, how are you going to mess up this experience in this moment for you? It's a great opportunity. So the point is, be careful who's over there giving you all that dap, because those people may not be in a position of success themselves. Had to go there. Coming up, Ben Simmons is open to a trade to the Warriors, but we'll tell you if they should want him. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Ben Simmons is still on the Sixers for now, like right now, this moment. Reports say the three-time All-Star has, quote, cut off communication with basically everyone in the Sixers organization. Damn. And everything is going through his agent. They added Ben is open to going to the Warriors, but he does not have leverage in that situation. All right, Acho. So the Warriors want Ben Simmons is the question.
Man, I think they should. They should want Ben Simmons because the Warriors are at least the team that can utilize him most. The Warriors are the team that can offset his deficiencies most. I said this when talking about Ben Simmons before. Ben Simmons is incredibly talented. Remember, everyone is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it too will live its whole life believing it is an idiot. Ben Simmons is a basketball genius.
Yeah,
Three-time All-Star in 4 NBA seasons. Two-time All-Defensive Team. One-time All-NBA. 2019-20 NBA steals leader. He's fourth in the NBA since arriving in the NBA in triple doubles. Ben Simmons is one of 5 players to average 15, 8, and 5, if I am not mistaken, along with the likes of LeBron James, the Joker, and Luka. One of 4 players. So as I look at it, Ben Simmons is actually a dude. We've created this narrative that he's not a dude because he doesn't play the game the way we think a guard should play the game. He can't shoot proficiently from, well, anywhere. But but Ben Simmons actually can play. So I'm going to stop there. I got my next lap, but go ahead.
But that's the problem. Should they want him? Yeah. I mean, first of all, let's not overthink it. Let's not get poetic up here. The dude can't shoot. Take him to the team with the best shooters. Oh, that can help. Like I was supposed to, it won't hurt. But you know what? I like Ben Simmons for this team in terms of spacing, in terms of him going to a culture that can give him the confidence. Him going to a culture where there are real veterans, real leaders, real champions. Sorry, Joel Embiid, but you and Ben Simmons ain't working out. Maybe because neither one of you guys is really the chef that you need to make this meal. Now, Joel Embiid's a beast. Ben Simmons is a beast. But where's the real leader, the cultural builder that's going to get them their championship? I don't see it in either guy. And that's okay, because if Ben Simmons were to go to the Warriors, just think right now, is Steph good off ball? You think? One, he's going to tire you out around all them damn screens. And then once he catches it, it's gone. That's buckets. Klay Thompson, we don't want you to put any more tread on them tires right now. No ball handling, nothing. You just do what you do. Catch and shoot. We know how you go. Now, all of a sudden, we look at Ben Simmons. We say, it's going to be interesting if we could put him on this team, maybe get some little pick and roll action. No pick and pop. He can't shoot. But just some pick and roll action, diving, whatever it may be. Him and Wiseman start to work things out. Point being, I can see it as an X and O fit, but even more as an I and U fit. X's and O's is on the court. I's and U's is upstairs and off the court. Like, Ben Simmons will work well with Steph Curry, kind of the osmosis of a real leader and the culture to bring all the best of him out.
I'll say it like this.
No,
wait, not yet.
Okay,
It's my turn.
Your turn.
You know me, I speak in quotes, y'all. Speak in quotes.
You got a quote?
I got one more quote for you.
Okay.
Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent.
Yeah. I've heard that. I've heard that.
That's a basic one. Even a fool is thought wise if he keeps silent. Here was the problem with Ben Simmons in Philly.
What?
He wasn't allowed to keep silent come the fourth quarter. Because come the fourth quarter, when Embiid's getting double teamed, Ben Simmons, you got to shoot. Ben Simmons wasn't allowed to kind of let his lack of a jump shot, let his lack of a three-point shot keep silent. So then we realized that it was incompetent. But in Golden State, he's allowed to keep silent. Because come the fourth quarter, we're not going to notice Ben Simmons not shooting. You got Steph there. Come the fourth quarter, we're not going to notice Ben Simmons not shooting. You got Klay there. So even if Ben Simmons is a fool, incompetent as it pertains to shooting the ball, he will be allowed to stay silent in Golden State. Whereas in Philly, he had to yell. And if you foolish, and if your game is incompetent as it pertains to shooting, and you got to shoot, now everybody knows about your deficiencies. Well,
I like it.
Gotta bring in Slick Rick.
Here we go.
Not deficient at all. Slick, should the Warriors want Ben Simmons?
Yes, they should want him, but they should not get him. In a perfect world, you would be able to trade, say, James Wiseman for Ben Simmons. That would, without question, be an upgrade if you can convince Ben Simmons that he should be a 0.5 or he could be your center. He's a much better playmaker than James Wiseman. Scoring-wise per minute, it's about the same. Rebounding, it's about the same. It would give you a wrinkle and would give you a clear improvement over what they are. But you can't do that by the salary cap. The Golden State Warriors already have the highest player payroll in the league, and so you've got to match contracts, which means the only option is to trade Draymond Green for Ben Simmons. And I am not making that exchange because if I look at what the two are capable of doing, there's a lot of comparable skills and positions and the way they would be utilized. But I'm checking far more boxes when it comes to Draymond Green than I am with Ben Simmons. Basically, the only advantages that Ben Simmons has is that at his age, at 25, he's a little more versatile defensively at this point than Draymond, and obviously has youth on his side, so his best years are ahead of him. But other than that, when it comes to leadership, when it comes to organizing my defense, when it comes to be vocal on both ends of the floor, when it comes to playmaking, just in terms of getting guys easy shots, Draymond Green is the better player. So I'm not making that exchange. So while in an open, perfect world, you would want Ben Simmons and find a way to add him to this team because he does bring a lot of things that you need. And look, you're getting a bargain right now. Everybody's down on Ben Simmons. The kid can still play. He's still a former defensive player of the year. He would be a great fit, but there's just no way to get him other than sacrificing something that would not make you better.
You went there, and I'm going to go there with you, but I'm going to wait 1 second. Now, Slick, here's the biggest issue with Ben Simmons. I know he leaves it all on the court, at least I assume he does, because he's a tremendous player, 3-time All-Star, 2-time All-Defensive, so I'm not going to slight his efforts. But when he goes to bed at night, the problem is he's still in the balance in terms of perception to all those evaluators out there. There's some great Ben Simmons and there's some bad Ben Simmons. So people look at him in balance. And that's a problem. When you're a baller like Ben Simmons, when you're great in talent like Ben Simmons, you should never be in balance because great should never be good. Here's the thing about this, though. You brought up Draymond Green, and I'm not trying to ship Draymond Green out of town. But if I get a young Ben Simmons for Draymond Green, I have to start to consider that. Why? If you look at them in terms of assists, in terms of playmaking, Draymond's amazing. Ben Simmons is Ben Simmons. So in terms of assist category, Ben Simmons gets the nod, even though Draymond was better last year. Rebounds, Ben Simmons is a better rebounder than Draymond, y'all. Hello? Y'all hear me? Yep. Ben Simmons is. Now let's talk about points, like giving you some buckets. He can't shoot, but he can get you some buckets. His worst points per game is better than Draymond's best points per game. Now, Draymond's not asked to go out there and be Steph Curry. We get it. He has Steph Curry. But the point is, if I can now exchange something that's better in a lot of major statistical categories, including birth certificate, I got to consider that if I'm really running my franchise correctly. I'm listening, Slick.
Yeah, no, fair. You have to consider it, and then you have to realize that while the statistics may be in favor of Ben Simmons, the intangibles are not. I cannot afford to have a quiet Ben Simmons when the loudness of Draymond Green is an important element with this team, because I've already got a Klay Thompson who's quiet, and I've got a Steph Curry who I'm not going to say is quiet, but he's also not vocal. I need that lightning rod that is Draymond Green that gets everybody going. And certainly Ben Simmons is not going to do that. And if you look at per 36 minutes, if you look at production per minute, the numbers change a little bit.
Yep.
The reality is that Ben Simmons plays more minutes. So as a result, his numbers are a little more robust. And the other element that I can't take away or that I can't ignore is the chemistry that Draymond Green has with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry. Now, Ben Simmons' playmaking abilities, maybe he might get there. But these guys came up together. And if there's anything, and I dare say both of you guys know this, at some point you've played with guys and you've looked across the locker room and you said, we're dogs. We're going to get it together. Like this means something to us. And it means something to us because we collectively are going to get it. That's what Draymond, Klay, and Steph have. That even if you bring in an Andrew Wiggins or a Kelly Oubre, you're trying to feed them a little bit of that feeling. But they weren't there from the beginning. They didn't go through the rough times and then, go from the lows to the highs. I can't ignore that element when it comes to the Warriors and their chemistry and their ability or hope of recapturing some of their previous magic.
Look, the cultural osmosis of Ben Simmons around Steph Curry and Klay Thompson every day, I would roll the dice to see how that would benefit Ben Simmons in changing his game and his mental outlook towards the game. I would like that. I love Draymond. I love the lightning rod, but also that lightning rod got KD out of town. Because, look, it doesn't always work in your favor. Now you over here considering Ben Simmons when you could have had KD if you didn't have that lightning rod. Oh, so it's good to hear you sell me that old story.
It's too late for that,
It's too late, right? But it's not too late to call out nostalgia. You're over here saying, hey, we all came up together. Yeah, I came up with Trey Wingo and Michelle Beadle and Max Kellerman and Carissa Top, and I got Whitlock right now. And then look at this. I chose in the build. Oh, my God. Hey, this thing keeps spinning, so let's keep on winning.
You keep upgrading.
Coming up, you ain't lying. Coming up, Dak Prescott got paid a lot of money. I mean, a whole lot. But he's not playing right now. We'll tell you if he'll live up to his contract in the first year. The first year. That's next on Speak for Yourself. Mike. What's up, word?
Let's get back to Dak Prescott, because he was dealing with the right shoulder strain while at the same time coming back from last season's ankle surgery. The Cowboys quarterback got seriously paid this offseason and earned $75 million this season alone. Last night, he was asked by our own Michael Strahan if he feels any pressure coming off his injury with a new contract. Take a listen.
I've said before, I think pressure is privilege. I'm just excited to come back from this injury, doing everything that I had to do to get my body ready. Obviously, getting the contract done, knowing that my future's here in Dallas. And I'm just excited to get back out there with my teammates and put my best effort forward.
Dak, the most positive man in America.
Got to be.
Just excited.
Yeah.
Got to bring in Bucky Brooks. Bucky, it's been too long, my dog. I miss you. But Marcellus, you up first.
Yes.
Will Dak live up to his contract in year one?
Absolutely. They owed him back pay for all them cheap years they had him. So, yeah, he's going to live up to it. Last time I saw Dak Prescott healthy, Did he have 4,900 yards? Yeah, Dak Prescott was balling last time I saw him healthy. Then the last time I see him, even in a shortened season, was he on pace to set NFL records in the passing game? Yeah. So, of course, he's going to ball out. Of course, he's going to live up to this contract in year one because this team is also going to make it to the playoffs. They're going to win the division, be in the playoffs. All check, check, check in terms of success. Now, let's talk about what Dak Prescott just showed y'all in that Jordan Brand. God, it's free, y'all. First of all, he's a Jordan Brand athlete, so everything you saw head to toe, free 99. Gotta love that dude. That's why he's smiling and so happy, Acho. Everything he got is free, and he got bread. It's crazy. But he talks about not the burden of expectations, but the comfort of expectations. I'm Dak Prescott. I am a baller. I hate when people want to go out there and undermine and slight guys who get paid. This is why I hate it. Not because you mad because they got more money than you. I get that, the envy. The problem is they put themselves in that position to get paid because nobody is getting paid when they don't put themselves in a position to get paid. I hear y'all now. Y'all got example over example. And every one of those dudes, I can give you more examples of somebody begging that they could be in that position to get paid. They don't hand out money in pro sports. You go and earn it and take it. And Dak has taken what he deserves, which is a contract that he's going to live up to in year one.
Dak Prescott can't live up to his contract in year one, and it's not Dak Prescott's fault. It would be performance impossible for Dak Prescott to live up to his contract in year one. Here is why I say this, gentlemen. The last 10 quarterbacks to have won a Super Bowl, they made on average $11.8 million in that year. The last 10 quarterbacks to have won an MVP, or the last 10 players to win an MVP, they made on average $13 million in that year. Dak Prescott is making $75 million this year. So Dak Prescott could both win a Super Bowl, win an MVP, and he'd still owe about $50 million to the Cowboys in this year. Because the cost it takes to win a Super Bowl for a quarterback says roughly $11.8 million. Cost it takes to win an MVP says it takes roughly $13 million. And Dak is commanding $75. So it's not Dak's fault, but there's literally no way for him to live up to that contract in year one. Could he live up to it over the course of the contract? Possibly. Could he live up to it over the course of the contract? Likely. But to do that all in 1 year? No, it would be impossible.
Oh, man.
Well, man, under that logic, I think Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, soon to be Lamar Jackson, Tom Brady, they might as well just pack it in because there's no chance for them because they're making money that you can't possibly win a Super Bowl. I'm saying this for Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott has already been through the hard stuff. The hard stuff was when he had to play for himself, playing to see if he could get beyond the franchise tag. Well, that money's in the bank now. And so when we look at the division, he's going to outplay all the quarterbacks in the division. He doesn't really have any real threat in that. And then when we look across the NFC, he's right up there as one of the top 3-4 quarterbacks in the NFC. Heck, I'll say it. He's a top 5 quarterback by any measure when you really look at the way that he performed the last time we saw him on the field. So in terms of living up to the contract, which is something that puts him in the $40 million club, he absolutely would do it because I think the bar, the floor of what Dak Prescott has to do, he has to get his team into the playoffs. You can check that off because they're going to win the division. And then it's just about him playing at a level that allows us to see that he's the Cowboys franchise quarterback. Yeah, this is easy money. No worry about the pressure on Dak Prescott.
Thank you. I mean, Dak Prescott is first in his first 5 years. He's first all time in Cowboys rankings. Troy Aikman played there, y'all. Y'all remember that, right? Dak Prescott's on a, you want to go there, Acho? Hall of Fame pace? You want to do that? Because Troy Aikman is Hall of Fame. Hey, he's better than Troy Aikman after the first 5 years. See, that's why I don't like
Bucky,
that.
I'll leave. I promise you, Bucky. We got 20 minutes left of the show, and I will not return. Take it back. No, I don't care what else. Take it back. Take it back.
I take it all back. Y'all remember that Nate Dogg. Here we go. I'm not taking it back because he's on pace.
No, I can't.
42 wins, first all time.
We cannot do anything else in this show until you rescind that statement that Dak Prescott is on a Hall of Fame pace. I won't talk about anything else.
Okay, you're right. I shouldn't use Acho logic because you said, well, his value in the 10 quarterbacks that just won the Super Bowl, and then there's guys who are getting paid way more.
Just tell me if you rescind the statement.
I just use Acho logic. Okay, I'll take it back just to be a good friend and a good co-host.
Fingers crossed. How do you cross fingers? Fingers crossed. You throwing up gang signs? Security! Security!
Hey, look, dog, I don't understand you. First of all, that was loaded. Good full screen, because it kind of hits you like, whoa, wait a minute. And then you're like, wait a minute. Maybe those guys were undervaluing what it means to get to that level. 11.8, 13 million, and Dak getting 75. I told you it's back pay, bruh. Y'all owe me. 13-3 don't come cheap. Oh, it did to y'all for $400,000. Winning the division 2 out of 4 years don't come cheap. Oh, it did to y'all when y'all were over there saying we're going to wait and franchise them and then franchise. Okay, see how that ends up in terms of on the books. I'm looking at Dak Prescott right now. Golly, second all-time in passer rating up to this point in his career. Is that Hall of Fame trajectory again? Oh, sorry, my fingers are crossed. Okay, this team is completely different with and without Dak. They paid... All right, let me say this the right way. They don't pay you by accident. I hate when people are like, oh, you didn't deserve the money. Yeah, you did, because trust me, we've been on teams out there when we were sitting there like, I want to get paid. You got to go get it, and Dak got it. There's no other way. There's a black, there's a white, there's a line you got to cross. It's that simple. So when Dak got paid, it's because Dak earned and deserved it. Why do you think that he's going to stop now since he were already playing for himself?
Did Dak deserve the back pay? Yes. But we're talking about him living up to this contract in year one. The question wasn't, does Dak deserve $75 million based upon what he did in 2016 to 2019? Tony Romo made $8 million in 2016. Dak Prescott didn't even make $8 million over his first 4 years of play, albeit Tony Romo did not play a game from 2016 on, and Dak Prescott played about 50 of them. So the Cowboys owed Dak Prescott a lot of money. But what they owed him past tense and what they're giving him present tense, those two things do not align. How I look at it is this, Sel. Let's make no mistake, Bucky Brooks. Dak Prescott got paid $35 million last year to rehab. I said it. He got paid $35 million.
My whole inner body was clapping. Like,
he got paid $35 million to rehab. So they broke even. The same thing that your Joe Schmo does on the street, walking down the steps, to breaks his ankle, fractures that, and he got to go to rehab for free. Dak got $35 million, y'all, sitting at home in America, who've ever been injured, to rehab. So the Cowboys atoned for the sins of his first 4 years with that $35 million. Slate's clean. 2021, let's look at a clean slate. Looking at a clean slate, $75 million, Bucky? $75 million, Sel? Nah, he can't earn that because the Cowboys atoned for that already. They atoned for that in 2020. Here's $35 million, just sit at home and rehab. Okay, we made up for 16 through 19. Now let's talk 2021. There's no way to earn $75 million in year one. Pat Mahomes ain't make $75 million last year. I believe he made 5 or 6.
Could have got a bad deal.
Deshaun Watson ain't make nobody $75 million last year. So Dak Prescott, there's no way he can earn it.
Who takes a 20-year deal?
You know he can earn it. Like, so here's what's funny about that, right? I know one of your guys we always talk about on the show in basketball. I'm never privy to those things, even though I know hoops. Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant in 2020, he made $26 million. You know what Kevin Durant did? He had a speed up for the Brooklyn Nets. I don't hear you complaining about Kevin Durant having that paid vacation for a year. So we shouldn't talk about Dak Prescott having a little vacation while he's rehabbing. Because if you ask me, I would say maybe they're one of the same in terms of their value to their team. We saw what the Brooklyn Nets look like without Kevin Durant. It's not the same kind of team, much like the Dallas Cowboys. And so if we're going to call Dak Prescott the Kevin Durant of this, then my expectation is when Dak Prescott shows back up for the Cowboys, we're going to see one of the best players in the world at that position. He already made a reasonable argument to be in the top 5, right there with Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Now, when we put it on the field and we stretch it out over 17 games, he absolutely can solidify himself as a top 5 quarterback, which will make him more than worthy of being the $75 million man by any calculation.
Thank you. And you got to look at it in context. And Acho, you keep forgetting that the Cowboys are looking at it through their organizational lens. They're looking at it like this guy in his first 5 seasons, even though one of them was compromised, is something we've never seen around here. Never seen. Roger Staubach? I know it's different era. Troy Aikman, different era. Tony Romo, different dude. But golly, most quarterback wins. Go Dak. Highest completion percentage, most passing yards, most passing touchdowns, highest passer rating, and now the most dough you can get, bro. Coming up, Tom Brady called out the NFL Players Association over the value of NFL teams. We'll tell you what we think about that. Next on Beat for Your Turn. Get that. Forbes magazine estimates the average value of NFL franchises has risen by 14%. This jump occurred despite going through a pandemic last season. This news did not sit well with Tom Brady, who turned his attention to the NFL Players Association. Brady called them out, posting, quote, "The salary cap dropped by 20%, and the new media deals were announced the day after 2021 salary cap was set. NFL players better wake up. NFL Players Association, NFL players are ignorant." Wow. Acho, what's your reaction to Tom Brady calling out the NFLPA?
Everybody calm down.
Oh, damn.
All Tom Brady did was yell something that everybody knew. What he yelled was the fact that the NFL revenue hasn't necessarily moved, but the value of an organization has gone up. Let me speak outside of ball before I speak inside of it. Yesterday, I'm sure you probably saw it, Rihanna is now worth $1.7 billion.
Yeah, what's her little makeup line?
Worth Fenty Beauty.
It ain't
worth
little.
$1.7 billion. That is
Love
Rihanna.
That. Go.
It don't mean Rihanna has $1.7 billion.
Oh, okay.
Her makeup line, Fenty Beauty, has a value of $1.4 billion, of which Rihanna owns 50% of. So it is an estimation that the value of Rihanna is $1.7 billion. But she ain't got $1.7 billion. Okay. Tom Brady is telling y'all this. The value of organizations has gone up, but the money the organizations has not yet been realized. Now, if this is beyond y'all, go back and take micro-econ like I had to. I got to see it my first time, so you ain't but understand, just because something has a high valuation does not necessarily mean it has that money liquid. So Tom Brady is yelling something. He's yelling, wait, the value of these NFL organizations has gone up. Sure. But that doesn't change the actuality or the practicality of the fact that the revenue hasn't gone up because the organizations don't yet have the money realized. The value went up because the new TV deals have hit. Because the new TV deals have hit, we can project that the money is going up for the value of the organization. But it doesn't actually mean anything. So Tom Brady just yelling, and because it's Tom Brady and he yelling, you kind of got to listen. Yeah. But everybody chill.
Whew. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Tom Brady, he calling the NFLPA ignorant. I hate to do this to the GOAT. He sound ignorant. All right, I was a player rep for 9 out of 10 years, so I went to Hawaii a lot. Pro Bowl, but also as a player rep. Okay, let's break this down. First of all, the salary cap is not dictated by franchise value. So to make that correlation is kind of lazy, simplistic. It's dictated by revenue. Revenue went down last year, as you know, Tom Brady, because teams were playing in empty stadiums. But the 7 years before, it was going up, the salary cap and the revenue, by $10 million minimum salary cap. Okay, so franchise value is for the owners to say, I'm rich. Like you said, unrealized value. To realize that, you're going to have to sell that sucker. And you ain't selling it.
Don't even need to sell. Talk about it.
So it's unrealized, but you got it. We know you got it. You get some good loans, but you got the money. So Tom Brady, this is my problem. One, if this is so deep and so real and players are ignorant and you're trying to educate, why you put it on IG story? That's going to disappear in a day. One, he probably hopes it does because it was ignorant. But two, you're not even saying the right stuff factually. The salary cap dropped by 20%. Oh, interesting. I'll just see right here. In facts, the salary cap is set at 182, 9% lower than the season before. Okay, Brady, maybe you got different information. I ain't going to call you ignorant. I'm just saying what you're saying is ignorant. The thing about this is, I thought it was a little lazy. Like, oh, they're making more money. Yeah, they're owners. Godly, I own some things. You own some things? I hope so. Okay, yeah, you do. Beverly Hills Adjacent, at least. Tom Brady owns some things. When Tom Brady's value goes up, does the employees that work at his places, does the TB12 employees' value correlate exactly with the value of TB12? No, it does not. But he wants to go there. Now, I am not sticking up for the NFL or anything. I'm sticking up for mathematics. I'm sticking up for logic. This is my story. I had the highest contract in 2001 for a DN at the time or something like that, right? $40 million. I was good to getting good, kind of great, but good. Joey Bosa's already great. But I don't give a damn how great he is. He signed for $135 million in the same lifetime. Woo, brother. Them players are getting their money from somewhere. Even though the owners are unrealized, players are actually realizing it. Come on, Brady. Coming up, some good news is coming from my Clippers. I tell you what I think about it. It's happening. Yeah, y'all keep talking about them Lakers. Who cares now? Oh, speak for yourself. Yeah, Brady was wrong.
Let's get to Marcellus's Clippers, because our own Chris Haynes reports Kawhi Leonard is re-signing with the team. But keep in mind, he has surgery on his partially torn right ACL and is expected to miss a substantial portion of the
that's all right. He's going to be fresh when he comes back. Oh,
So, give me a reaction.
You already know. Clip City, Chip City, 2022. He's coming back. This is just to throw y'all off, everybody. We're not even going to report the numbers because, y'all, we going to throw y'all off. Y'all don't even know the numbers. I heard the contract is Steve Ballmer's worth +1. And it's going to be huge. And Clip City coming back. Dog, we made it this close without him. He comes back next year. You know it's
you're
a
going
wrap.
to be yelling Clip City, Chip City till you have dentures in. You do realize that, correct?
I'm about to fall off the desk.
Y'all have a great weekend, man.
Go on,